So I told them that I was ready to move out, and the apartment people told me there was no room available. I know there are rooms available. Like, there is no way you don't have one more. There is no way. In the beginning of the term, there is no way. So I called one of my friends to pretend as though she wanted to get a room in that apartment and see if they will offer her one. And one of them called. They said they had room. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Victoria Ayodele Fash. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. If you're a teen subscriber, you know I love you. You know I appreciate you so much. Thank you for always coming back. Okay, before I get into this video, I just want to say a very big thank you to you guys. I'm telling you, as I'm talking, I'm still getting comments coming in from my last video, and the support, the feedback, I never expected it. It's so amazing. The compassion, the kindness, the love that you guys you've shown to me, it just makes it like it makes it feel good. It made me feel better, you know. When I shared that story, I didn't realize I know I have, you know, I'm over that incident, but I did not realize how much I was still carrying. But you know, sharing that really helped me to like take a lot of load off my chest, and the feedback just made it so easy, and I am so grateful. Thank you guys so much for taking out the time. Some of you wrote epistle of prayer, of support, of, you know, some said they were crying. I never expected such feedback. Guys, I am so grateful. God bless you guys so very much, and I really do pray, like I said in the post I made in my community tab, that you guys never experience anything like that in your entire life. But so that you will not experience it, for many of the, you know, international students that are planning on going to the US, I realized that in that video I shared a lot about what happened, but I didn't really dwell on some of the lessons that I think that you need to take away. And also a number of you asked questions like, why did I remain in the apartment for that long? Like, why didn't I leave sooner? Some asked about my husband during that period. How did he feel about it? A number of you asked about, am I going to sue the school or sue my friends, sorry, the girls and stuff? And yeah, a number of you were like, you were not even taking it easy on them. Thank you guys so much. So those are some of the things that I'll be addressing, and some other questions that you guys asked. But before I go into that, I want to talk to you guys about a platform that will change your life, okay? Especially if you're based in the United States or in Canada, but especially if you're in the United States, because you know I was there, and I know that one of the biggest challenges that we face sometimes is in sending money from the United States to Nigeria, or to even our families in Africa. I remember the first time I had to send, when I was coming to the UK, the bulk of the money that I needed for my proof of fund, you know, I had to send it to Nigeria, and I was so scared because I had to go through, you know, someone I've never met before, and you know, it was just a lot. But I have come with good news. If you are in the United States and you're wondering how you can transfer money from the United States to Nigeria that is seamless with great exchange rates and zero transaction fee, guys, what did I say? Zero transaction fee. I have come with the right platform for you guys, right? So today I'm talking about Lemfi. Yes, Lemfi is a trusted, if you're in the UK, I mean, if you don't know about Lemfi in the UK, you are probably sleeping under a rock, okay? Everybody knows about Lemfi. So Lemfi is a trusted payment app that is available in the UK, in the United States, and in Canada. Yes, I have used Lemfi several times. My husband, that's all we use to transfer money everywhere. A lot of my friends also use Lemfi in the United States to send money to their families, their friends in Africa. If you are in the United States, in the UK, and in Canada, Lemfi is the most trusted, reliable payment platform that you can use to send money from these countries to your loved ones in, you know, in Nigeria and in other African states, including Kenya, Senegal, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Tanzania, Benin, Uganda, and Rwanda. Yes, you can send money to all of these countries from the United States. Now, if you're in the United States and you're looking for a reliable app to be able to send money from the United States to Nigeria or any of these African countries that I just listed, simply download the Lemfi app. Also, if you are in Nigeria or any of these African countries I just listed, and your family members are always telling you, or your friends are always giving you one excuse or the other as to why they cannot send money to you, introduce them to the Lemfi app. And also the best part of this deal, apart from the fact that you get the best exchange rate and also zero transaction fee, you also get a 10% cashback of up to $50 on your first $150 transaction or transfer on the Lemfi app by using the link in the description box below to download the app. However, if you go to your Google Play Store, your Apple Play Store to download Lemfi, simply use the code, the referral code FASHFAM, FASHFAM, when you're doing your transaction. Remember, your first transaction of $150 and above, you get 10% cashback, capped at $50. Okay, so guys, do not waste time. Don't sleep on this. Tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody to download Lemfi and start to enjoy seamless, easy and instant transactions. Okay, all right. Okay, let's get to today's video. So today I'm talking, like I said, I'll be answering a few questions that you guys asked. I decided that I did not want to dwell on this topic, but because I ended up talking for so long, that video was 40 minutes long. You guys, I can't believe you guys watched the entire thing. Thank you guys so much. I decided that I'm going to I could not share as much as I wanted to share in terms of the lesson, because really it's not really the sympathy, even though I appreciate the empathy and I appreciate the love that you guys showed to me. The reason I shared that video was so that you can learn something from it, those who are going to the United States, because I know that, you know, we're in the admission season. A lot of you will be traveling in December, in January. These are some of the things that I think you should take note of when trying to get an apartment, right? Now, the first thing I'm going to mention before answering the question is, and I think I mentioned it in the last video that I did, that if you're a grad student, I would always advise you that you get an apartment with fellow grad students. Trust me, it will help you in the long run, because everyone studying in the United States is so different from studying in the UK. I'll do a video about that. But in the United States, it is very hands-on. It's very research focused. Like, it's really a lot. So when you're with your fellow grad students, everybody is busy, especially when you're in your finals or your exam period and stuff. It's easier when you stay with grad students. So I will always advise, get an apartment with grad students if you're able to. However, if you're not able to, which brings me to the question that one of you asked about, why did I not leave sooner? One of the advice that Mercy gave to me when I moved in, but I did not take seriously, was that she asked me to take a sublet. That's sublease, yes. So if you go to the Facebook page of your school, your chosen school, you will see people who are subletting the apartment maybe for 6 months or for 3 months and stuff like that, you know, to start with, because then you have a short period of time, and if it's not working out, you can easily leave after that 3 months is over. But I didn't do that, because I did not take over somebody's lease. I started a new lease, and usually they will, it depending on where you stay, really, there are some apartments that would do a month-to-month lease or month-on-month lease or whatever. If you don't know the people that you'll be living with, if you're going into a new place and you're not certain about, you know, you don't know the people you'll be living with, I will always advise that you get a month-on-month or month-to-month, not a lease, not a long-term lease, basically, right? If they don't, because in the school environments that I was in that Harrisonburg, it's difficult for you to get an apartment building that will give you a lesser lease, right? Because I think they all have like this agreement that this is how they're going to do to keep you in the list, to keep you from leaving their apartment, right? But I know that it's always difficult like that when it's the beginning of a semester. When you are getting to like the first month of school, they start to offer like 6 months lease or shorter lease, right? But when it's like the beginning of the semester, everybody's telling you it is 1 year lease. So make sure that don't be in a hurry, don't be in a rush. If you have a place to stay like I did, don't be in a hurry to leave there, because that was one of the mistakes that I made, right? If you are able to, make sure that you get a month-to-month lease, but even at the very least, get a 6 months lease or a 3 months lease, especially if you don't know the people that you'll be staying with. Because one of the problems that I had was I went directly to the apartment to get a lease, and of course I got a 1 year lease, which tied me to that apartment. And basically what that means is that you cannot break the lease. It's not like Nigeria, you can just pack out. If you don't pay rent, nothing will happen. You'll be compelled to pay that rent. So imagine you move to another, I moved to another apartment, I will have to pay rent in this apartment that I'm no longer staying. I'm paying rent in that apartment, and rent in the US is not cheap. In that apartment, I was paying about $500 or something a month. So where am I even going to see the money to be able to pay in 2 apartments? So please make sure that you try as much as possible. I couldn't get out of the list even after I told the apartment. The apartment people is another story, because oh my god I don't even want to get into that because they knew everything happening, and you know, they were, oh my god, it was so bad. So basically this was the rule. I eventually, after about 2 months of me going through all of this, I eventually got somebody who wanted to move out of her own apartment. She had a better, you know, roommate. She had better roommates, and she wanted me to move into her apartment, but she hadn't gotten somebody to take over her own list. So we both went to the apartment building and said I wanted to come into her apartment, and then we'll find somebody to take over, you know, my own apartment. And the apartment building would not accept. First of all, they asked me to pay a transfer fee of $300. Yes, $300 plus the rent, and then we had to still find somebody to take over my own room. It was just a very messy situation. And even at the end, after, you know, I traveled and I came back, I could not go back to the apartment. Of course, I went to them and I told them, this is everything going on. It has become so messy. I was almost thrown out of school, and I cannot stay with these people because I don't know what their next game plan is. And the apartment people, they could not be bothered. They told me I've already signed the list. There's nothing they could do about it. They were just really horrible people. And again, the environment encourages it, right? So what I did was, so they told me I had to pay $300 if I wanted to change apartment. The same apartment building, you know, if I wanted to change apartment, I had to pay $300. After a lot of back and forth, you know, because it was getting really, I kept telling them, how you ask me to pay? Looking at you put me in a room with people who treat me this way, and you want me to pay to be able to leave this toxic environment. What if I die in this place? What will happen? Then, you know, it was just, we kept sending emails back and forth. They insisted they were not going to do anything. So after after I left to Texas and I was coming back, my department director, who was my boss, she was so nice. She gave me half of the fee that I needed to pay for the $300, and Stankout gave me the other half, and they asked me to call the apartment and tell them to put me in another room. Now remember, it's going to be the same, and I was scared, first of all, because I was scared that what if they take me out of here and they put me in a worse situation. But I prayed about it. I knew that God was going to take charge, because at this point I still could not, the other room that I wanted, I couldn't get it anymore. That's the basic thing. So they were going to put me in a new room. I have no idea who are the people that I will be living with again. I had absolutely no idea, and but I just, you know, trusted God. So I called the apartment people and I told them, okay, I have your money, just give me another room so that I can leave these people, because I cannot even stay there. Because prior to this, for 1 month, for the entire December, I was staying in Mercy's place. I did, my stuff were there, but I did not go. But if you watch the last vlog I did when I was moving out, you could tell that a lot of my room was really scattered because I wasn't living there anymore. So I told them that I was ready to move out, and the apartment people told me there was no room available. It was like, what? Like I know there are rooms available. Like, there is no way any apartment building, because it's like a mini estate, there is no way you don't have one more. There is no way. In the beginning of the term, there is no way. So at this point, I knew they were trying to be difficult. They wanted me to remain in that room because I had been arguing with them back and forth in mails, and they weren't going to give me a new room. So they told me there was no room, and this is what I did. And in case you ever find yourself in that situation, this is really a good plan for you. So what I did was, after I called them, they said there was no room, I sent an email and made sure I got it in the email that they said they did not have any room. So I called one of my friends to pretend as though she wanted to get a room in that apartment and see if they will offer her one. And one of them called, they said they had room. But because I couldn't really get, because it was a call, it didn't work out. So I told Magdalene. Magdalene is an amazing person. I also told Magdalene to call. Magdalene said she wouldn't call. Instead, she sent them a message on their portal and told them that she needed a room, and she got their consent that they had a room currently that was being cleaned. And she told, in short, she went as far as telling them that she was ready to take it, and they were like, yes, it is ready, coming. And she sent me a screenshot. So I attached that screenshot to an email. I told them, my friend just inquired, after you told me you didn't have any room, my friend just inquired that she needed a room and you guys offered her one. So my friend is no longer interested in that room, so I want to take that room. So at this point, obviously they had no reason to keep me in that toxic situation. I already had proof that they had a room available, and they were like, oh, we're trying to get the room cleaned. The room was not, just nonsense excuse. They just wanted me to stay in that room and continue in that toxic situation. Of course, I didn't need to tell you the people that were in charge of that apartment, and gosh, I don't want to even get into that. So that was how. So I came in, and you know, initially they said we should have a meeting, and I came and she was like, she didn't have any meeting. The apartment, they were just really horrible people. But eventually, to God be the glory, with the help of my friend Magdalene, God bless you, Tanya, God bless you, I was able to trap them because they don't have any excuse, and with the help of my boss, and Steinka, I was able to pay the transfer fee, and you know, I paid my rent, and I moved in with the 3 amazing junior students also, because these other girls, they were also junior students, these were also junior students, and they were all also white. But gosh, they were so like, we never had any issues till I moved out of that apartment. We never had one issue, and these people, I use their pots, I use their pans, because they don't cook, so they're always fascinated whenever I cook. They're so, oh my god, they were so sweet. They were, oh jeez, like, no, I did a video with them, like, you guys, that video I did it 1 week after I moved in. They insisted that they wanted to do a YouTube video with me. They were so nice. I met, you know, one of their parents, like, they were just so amazing, like, just amazing people. So anyway, so yes, this lesson in that is, if you can, please avoid a long-term lease, especially your first lease. Try to get a 6-month at the very least, or get a 3-month lease, or the best deal is get a month-on-month. Because in that, if I had gotten a shorter lease, I would not be tied to that lease, because if I moved out of that apartment, I'll have to keep paying rent, and there was no way I would be able to afford that. So if you have a month-on-month or a 3-month lease, if you get in and everything is good, you can extend your lease, right? If you get in and things are bad, after 3 months you can leave. I didn't do that, and I totally regretted that, because that would have really saved me a lot of stress. You know, if I had a 3-month lease, I would have even left after the first month. I would stay with Mercy for 2 months, and then I'll move out and moving into another apartment. So yeah. So another thing that you guys asked me was, a number of you asked, how did my husband feel during this period? Do I even need to say, like, you guys, of course it was devastating for both of us. He was planning coming to the US when all of this thing happened, and you know, we had applied for his visa and everything was getting messy. I was going to be sent back, so it now became a thing of we're both stuck, so we don't know if we should move on. It was just a very we've paid, he has an appointment, we've done everything, and then all of this was happening, and they'll tell me I was going to go back. Like, it was affecting him mentally, and because I was also in a very emotional place, I couldn't be what he wanted for me in that season, and he also was trying so hard to be what I wanted, but it wasn't, because he wasn't present, he couldn't be that for me. But Mercy, my friends, they were everything that I needed in that season. My mom, my sister, they would call, they would pray over me, they would encourage me, they would force me to eat. They would, like, at a point I wasn't even picking anybody's call, including my husband. So my husband would be speaking through Mercy for Mercy to talk to me, because I didn't even, like, I was just in a very, very, very bad place. I couldn't eat, I couldn't think, I couldn't pray. Of course I was praying a lot, but I was just in a very bad place. And he was really struggling, because he couldn't, everything he said was wrong. If he said do this, I will flip out. Like, I was getting so upset. I was upset. The people around me were doing so much to be able to help me. I couldn't vent on them. My husband was the only person I could vent to, and he was also going through his own. So I would vent on him, and he'd be like, what do you want me to do? I'm trying this, you're not, you know. And I would vent on him, and he would get upset, but he would still try to be there. He was so sweet to me during that period. I will lie, it was really tough on him. And you know, he also had no one to vent to, even though, you know, we were both going through that season. I also learned how to, like, manage my emotions during that season, but you know, it really affected him, I'm not even going to lie. But yeah, we were able to, you know, to scale through. And after everything, we had to talk about, you know, everything that happened, and that was when, you know, the decision about moving to the United Kingdom, you know, started to come, and we started to have that conversation. And yeah, the rest, they say, is history. But yeah, he felt, I know people want him to, my husband will not sit down to do a video about it. But it was a really tough season for him, I will not lie. We both were in the phone crying sometimes. I was the one doing most of the crying, and he was, like, encouraging, like, telling me it's fine, whatever happens, God is in charge. He was praying a lot for me. And you know, I just wanted to use this opportunity to thank a few people. A lot of people stood up. Oh my God, my professors, every single one of my professors sent emails to this department. every single one of them, telling them that, listen, this girl we knew about our YouTube channel, oh, she's, you know, like just sending support and all of those things. They refused. Like, it didn't even move anything. I'd like to thank Danae. Danae was the one who introduced me to, oh no, the person who actually paid half was the multicultural. So they have this multicultural, it's a very small department. They have this small office that, you know, black people, black community usually, you know, go, especially mostly they're undergrads. A lot of grad students don't go there. But Danae introduced me to one of the, I think she's also a VP, or she was like a diversity and inclusion team. So she was the one who actually paid half of it. Stanka paid a lot of money. I'm not even going to tell you, like, she did a lot, but she was the one who gave me, she was able to get me a donor in the school. She told the person about my case, and he was the one who paid the second half of the $150 that I needed to move out of the apartment. Yeah, I remember she was the one who gave me that, and my boss in the school. So yeah, Danae introduced me to her, and Danae was so, you know, she was so good to me. She was introducing me to the black people in the school that can actually advocate for me. And you know, it was, you know, even though the advocacy could not really work as much, but they really tried there as much as possible to get me out of that apartment, and I am so grateful for that. Tia, you know, had this friend that had, her father was a lawyer. The father asked me for all the evidence to be able to assist me, but he couldn't, to be able to get me out of the list. But the list was so tight, he knew that there was nothing he could do, but she really attempted and she really tried. I'm so grateful for Tia. Tanya would call me every day to pray over me. She would call me every day to encourage me. Like, Tanya was so amazing in this period. I am so grateful for her. You guys, I don't even need to talk about Mercy. You guys already know. Mercy was my mom, my husband. She was everything to me in that season. She was my caretaker, my landlord. She was everything to me in that season. And you guys, you know, I always talk about Mercy so much, and I am so grateful for her. My friends Balaji and Christy will call every day. They will pray every day. They had videos, they had prayer meetings over this issue. You know, my pastor in Nigeria, my husband had to contact him. It was a lot. My pastor introduced me to people in the United States that could help me out. They were, you know, asking me to call it was going to be, because the idea was, if they had asked me, if it had gotten to a point where they asked me to leave, I would have involved a lawyer. And that brings me to the other question you guys were asking, if I was going to sue or something. I was going to sue, because the idea is they will give you 5 days to leave the US, or you can appeal to USCIS. So if the school had gone ahead to ask me to leave, I would have opened an appeal, and that would mean I would have gotten a lawyer and all of that. And I had people, Stanka's friends, Stanka, oh god, Stanka did the most in that season. She made sure that Stanka, Bolash was telling me that because they have their family prayer, Stanka will be crying in the family prayer because of my situation. Like, she owned it. God raised people for me. No, God raised people for me. Stanka would cry, she would pray over me, she would call all. I don't think there's any friend that she has that is in legal thing that Stanka has not like spoken about, and they were ready to fight it with me. If it had gone and the school had made a decision that I leave, I had a team of people around that were willing to fight, and Stanka was willing to pay anything it cost for me to be able to get justice. She was just too good to me. She was too good to me. I'm like, for someone that, you know, I'm her sister's friend. She took me as family. She took me as a sister. Guys, you don't even want to know. You don't want to know the things this lady did for me to be where I am today. When, you know, this whole UK thing, I'm just gonna say only this one. This whole UK thing, when she was the one who was like, when I told her about it, she was like, yes, apply, do everything. When it comes to the part of paying my school fees, Stanka sold her car. Yes, and I'm gonna say this here because for a person that I didn't know this lady. Like, the first time I got to see her physically for the very first time was in 2019 when I came to the US that first time. And I'm not going to go to tell you what she did for me during that period, the first time I was in the US. Like, when I just came in, I knew nobody. I didn't know what to eat. She was in Maryland. I was in New York. She would send delivery person to deliver food to me. In New York, she would deliver food. She would send money. I was using her Uber account to be going everywhere I was going. In my very first time I came to the United States, see, I can't even tell you the things she did to. That was the first time. This time, what she was doing all this time, she has never seen me before. So when we met face to face, you can imagine the things she did. The clothes, no. Stanka did too much. She did too much. And this time around, Stanka did so much. The money she spent, when I was coming here, I told you, she sold her car. and she had already promised me the car. If you watch the vlog, she was teaching me how to drive. She was going to give me the car. So when this whole UK thing, she said there was no point sending the car all over, you know, over to Virginia. She might as well. She sold it and gave me the money to be able to add to my tuition. God, this lady, see, when you see me talking about like God in my life, I'm not a person that, you know, I don't, favor it has not been something that I've experienced. Like, I experienced a lot of God's blessing, but that people would just be giving me money and giving me things. It's not something that was, it's not an experience for me until like in this entire season, like from 2019, God started to show me, God rose people for me, like prayer warriors. People were praying for me in places that I did not know. People were like standing up for me. People were calling lawyers, were calling advocates, were doing things for me. And I was just there, I was just marveling at how God, people, you know what he said, somebody carry your matter for their head. Like, they carried my matter for her head. She did too much. My mom would pray. She was so helpless. Let her pray. She would pray. She would call me, encouraging. My sister would pray. I've never seen my sister pray. I don't think my sister has ever prayed over me like she did during that season. My sister would pray and pray and pray. Ah, God was so good to me. God was so good to me. There are a number of people that we could not tell what was going on until after, and they couldn't even believe it. Femi and Mercy. See, Femi and Mercy, especially Mercy. But guys, all my movement here, the financial, like, you know, when people God was so good. Like, God rose people for me. And these people stood by me. They stood by me. The emotional people that I needed for prayer, for spiritual support, they were there. People I needed for emotional support were there. Guys, I don't even want to talk too much. Let's move on. I think those were the major things that I wanted to address. So when you're coming, please be mindful of the list that you signed, because trust me, getting out of a list, well, it takes a lot, because they know what they're doing. The apartment people, they know what they're doing. So be very mindful of the list. Before you sign any list, read this very well. Content it as much as you can. Try to get as little what they call it, time frame as possible. Don't sign a long-term list, please, as much as possible. Avoid a long-term list, because that was what really got me into this mess that I was in. So yeah, those are basically the biggest thing that people ask. I know a lot of you were like, oh, those girls, they will meet the akinico, they will share. To be honest, I have absolutely no animosity towards them. I really do pray that they find God. I pray that, you know, they become better. You know, I just pray that God just heals them. Whatever hurt and brokenness is in their heart, that God heals them, that they find Jesus, and Jesus melts their heart. He gives them a new heart and a new attitude. Because you see, this life is so small. You might think that you might never need a person in the future. You treat people like trash, and I've seen that happen, especially in my life. People who treated me as, you know, less than in one season, needing my help in another season. So be mindful of how you treat people, right? And yeah, again, thank you guys so very much. Remember to use Lemfi. Use the link below, use the code below, please guys. I really need this. Like, I really need you guys to use that link, please, and use that code and download Lemfi, and please, because this is the biggest brand deal I've ever gotten since forever. So yeah, thank you guys so very much for watching. Until we meet again, I still remain your favorite girl, Victoria Idyllic Fashion. I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye. Bye guys.